so that you get to the bottom of our children's generation to come. That's the most important. The fact that presently we are finding a lot of difficulties in the spirit that we have the leaders, where we want to look at it is most important, our education. And moreover, parental aspect of it, to take care of the children at home, to know their values and whatever they are not worthy to that. So automatically there's no job creativity. That is one. Education was not going high. That two. Then automatically our medical sector was not quite okay. So they have to adjust to structure that area. Then they can move better for more. No, it is naturally. It's a many are called, but few are chosen. Some of us, we are leaders. Some of us, we are religious leaders. But along the line, our mindset is not working toward goal, what God has planned for our future. And moreover, too, we do not go to the right direction. The main fact that everyone have his own way of operating. Now, when you get to the Bible, there are a lot of things you can be able to quote, and you will see that most of us, we are interested in one particular area, not by godly. Particular, all of us have come short of the glory of God. Moreover, too, a Redeemer came to redeem us, probably if we have hope, and if we have trust in Him, therefore we can make things different. But the point is that, are we able to submit ourselves? Then we can carry on the responsibility to make the world better tomorrow. Now, the government has to sit right, because probably they take a mandate and power, so they do not listen to anybody's advice. Moreover, too, they are not reading. They are all part of political issues based upon their mindset. It is not today it was happening, because the Pharisees and Sadducees are doing it in the past many years. They are now fine-tune things and put people away from the system, wherever they know the right thing to be done, not be done. So automatically, those are the things that are giving us a step back. Now, area they have to come in to put things right, they are not there, because nobody will checkmate them. They have power to even to question me or whatever.
A very good morning to you and welcome to the news update. We're reaching you live from our studios at SOUQ News TV. I'm Oyin Priye Krumale. Now, the federal government has launched a nationwide revenue recovery exercise to boost inflows into the federation accounts and curb financial leakages across major revenue-generating agencies. The initiative, formally inaugurated at the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission headquarters in Abuja, where its chairman, Dr. Mohammed SOUQ, hosted the Federal Inland Revenue Service Chairman, SOUQ Adedeji, according to the statement by the Commission's spokesperson, Mariam Yusuf. The move aligns with effort to strengthen fiscal transparency and accountability, ensuring all statutory revenues are duly remitted. Dr. SOUQ described the initiative as a deliberate, results-driven effort to recover every recoverable naira and enhance fiscal governance in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, supported by the FIRS and the Presidential Revenues Office. The project involves consultants tasked with identifying and reclaiming unremitted funds across economic sectors within 6 months. The FIRS chairman, represented by Shatima Tamadi, commended the collaboration, while the lead consultant, Temitayo Ujelike, pledged to deliver measurable outcomes that will reinforce Nigeria's revenue base and fiscal sustainability. The Debt Management Office has certified that the federal government's proposed $2.35 billion external borrowings is a mix of new financing for the 2025 budget and refinancing of maturing Eurobonds. DMO Director General Patience Onia said $1.229 billion will be used to part finance the 2025 Appropriation Act, while $1.118 billion will redeem Eurobonds issued in 2018, which matured in November 2025. She explained that refinancing through fresh borrowing is a standard global practice that helps avoid default and sustain investor confidence. Citing similar moves by Kenya, Cameroon, Gabon, and Angola, Onia added that the government will explore various international market instruments, including Eurobonds, syndicated loans, and multilateral financing. Analysts said the planned issuance will help stabilize the naira and boost Nigeria's external reserve, which have risen to $42.68 billion. However, they warned that while the move offers short-term fiscal relief, it could increase external debt exposure, reinforcing the need for stronger revenue generation and prudent debt management. Now, Nigerians are increasingly turning to locally produced chicken as health awareness rises and prices of imported alternatives soar, cutting down smuggling activities across the country's borders. Traders in major Lagos markets told Business Day that demand for Nigerian chicken has surged since the 2018 border closure, with consumers citing affordability, freshness, and health benefits as key reasons. Customs officials confirmed a drop in smuggled frozen poultry, while local farmers report expanding operations to meet growing demand. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, Nigeria's chicken production rose from 274,767 tons in 2018 to 324,135 tons in 2023. Industry experts said rising protein demand and quick returns on investment are driving growth despite high feed costs. A Business Day market survey shows local chicken now sells for about 50,000 naira per carton, up from 12,500 naira in 2020, but still slightly cheaper than imported options, according to reports. Now, West African midstream and downstream petroleum regulators have agreed to establish a new regional forum aimed at harmonizing fuel prices and strengthening petroleum products trading across the region. The decision emerged from the inaugural West African Refined Fuel Market Conference, jointly organized by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority and S&P Global Commodity Insights in the Federal Capital Territory. Themed West African Refined Fuel Market, Pathway to a Regional Reference Market, the conference focused on creating petroleum and natural gas trading hubs, improving pricing and quality standards, and boosting downstream investors through enhanced and transparency and digital platforms, according to a communique issued by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. A West African Regulators Forum and a technical working group will be set up to coordinate implementation of the conference's resolution and address challenges such as infrastructure deficit, tariff barriers, exchange rate issues, and inconsistent product specifications. Stakeholders also resolved to provide incentives for refinery expansion, establish transparent regional price assessments, develop product quality standards, and create petroleum and gas trading hubs in Nigeria, with an annual conference to track progress in the West African refined fuel market. Now, energy power shift EU to end Russian oil gas imports by 2028. The European Union has agreed to ban all Russian oil and gas imports by 2028, a landmark move aimed at cutting off one of Moscow's key revenue sources and boosting Europe's energy independence plan. The plan, endorsed by most EU energy ministers in Luxembourg on Monday, will phase out new Russian gas contracts from January 2026 and prohibit all pipeline oil and LNG imports by 2028 under the bloc's REPPAR EU roadmap. EU officials described the decision as a major step toward a resilient and independent energy market. Member states will now submit national diversification plans to secure alternative energy supplies, while a review clause will track progress 2 years after implementation. Despite opposition from Hungary and Slovakia, The proposal passed with majority support and is expected to be approved by European Parliament, formalizing a full break from Russian energy within 3 years. And that's it on the news update. Many thanks for watching. Please do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at SOUQ News TV. Coming up shortly is a business landscape. Do stay with us.
Human achievements, goal setting, hard work, and dedication have been proven to be some of the elements towards success. The journey of remarkable individuals with lasting impact on the world are often filled with manifold stories, but through determination, they build their lives and make extraordinary contributions. Join me on the story of a trailblazer in business and philanthropy, Aiboje Ig Mokwede, a lawyer turned banker who has done well for himself, made an indelible mark within the banking sector, and has continued in his ambition of touching lives within Nigeria and across Africa. Aiboje Ig Mokwede. Within the Nigerian business space and philanthropy, few names resonate and are respected profoundly. Such is Aiboje Ig Mokwede. If you're just watching, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great documentaries. Like, share, and comment. Known as a successful business mogul, banker, investor, and a philanthropist who cares about making difference, Ig Mokwede's story is one of hard work, creativity, and a desire to drive positive change across Africa. Born to civil service parents on September 24, 1966 in Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria, he hails from Sabongida Ora, Edo State. Aiboje spent his formative years with his parents in Lagos, where he had his primary education at St. Saviour's School. He enrolled into Federal Government College, Kaduna, and at age 16, he was admitted to study law at the University of Benin, where he graduated at a young age of 19 with a law degree, displaying early signs of his exceptional intellect and drive. Called to the Nigerian bar in 1987, he started his career in 1988 as a lawyer at Continental Merchant Bank during his National Youth Service Corps NYSC year. In 1991, he joined Guaranty Trust Bank PLC, GT Bank, where he rose to prominence as an executive director. His big moment came in 2002 when he led the acquisition of Access Bank, turning it from a small regional bank into a big player, a banking powerhouse in the industry. Throughout Throughout his career, Ike Mokwede has taken on different leadership roles, including Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Access Bank until December 2013. He later became president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange and retired in 2017, but remains on the National Council. Bowing out of Access Bank, he was given a befitting send-off.
No man or combination of men could transform what we met in Access Bank in 2002 into what would cause this type of people to come and celebrate today's office.
His foresight and managerial acumen have brought him chairmanship and directorial roles in prominent organizations such as African Finance Corporation, Associated Discount House Limited, Petrolon Energy, among others, thereby contributing greatly to their growth and sustainability. Hard work, they say, pays. Igboje Ige Mokwede's hard work earned him many awards and honors. He received the National Productivity Order of Merit Award in 2009, conferred with Commander of the Order of the Niger CON in 2011 by the then President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, during his administration for contributing to banking and finance. As a visionary leader, he was installed into the E&Y World Entrepreneurs Hall of Fame in 2011 as the EY West Africa Entrepreneur of the Year and named African Banker of the Year in 2013. These amounting to how much others values his leadership and ideas. He got honored by Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria. Beside his work, Ige Mokwede also gives back to society. This philanthropist is involved in efforts to improve governance and healthcare across Africa through his Ige Mokwede Foundation, making a positive impact on people's life. He initiated the Adopt a Healthcare Facility program in 2019, and he is the chairman of ABC Health and director of the Private Sector Health Alliance of Nigeria. He is the founder of chairman of Coronation Capital Limited since 2015 and has contributed to the growth of the Coronation ecosystem. Coronation Capital Limited, with other arms of its businesses, also bettered Coronation Art Gallery in Lagos on the 13th of May 2022, a platform for showcasing exceptional works of art that embodied the essence of cultural significance and artistic expression. Igboje Ige Mokwede founded Coronation Art Gallery with the vision of democratizing art, foster appreciation and understanding for the artistic world, and making it accessible to a wider audience.
Bumi Augusto is, I knew Bumi when she was born. I know her parents, and I know all her siblings. She's a beautiful, wonderful, gifted Nigerian artist, and just like many of the others here. The piece behind me is a triptych, long throats, all up to longer throats. I actually thought that I was going to caption this collection. You know, this is really a microcosm of my entire collection, but I was going to capture it longer throats because this represents a lot of this collecting I did during COVID. Many of these pieces actually were not in Nigeria. I brought them home. I'll tell you something. I'm known for collecting masters, you know, the Enwonwus and the Yusuf Grillos and so on. I still do, okay? And I kind of stuck to that genre of classic. Those are the people who, when I was growing up, as I told you, those are the people who were my parents, either just older than them or contemporaries. So I grew up knowing these artists as my uncles, okay? So my first collecting was, you know, from works, you know, done by masters like that. After a while, you know, these these works are really priced in. But Bumi Augusto, her works, which may appear even a bit pricey now, in 10 years' time, So this is also hosted by Coronation, which are companies that are all about wealth creation. So there's also the investment angle. I don't collect for investments, but with all that these great Nigerian and African artists, the young ones, have been doing, and the way their prices have been rising, I've got to focus on investments now.
He collaborated with the Nigerian Civil Service to digitalize work processes and public service delivery in October 2021. Recognizing 43 public servants at the 2022 Civil Service Award ceremony on behalf of the Ige Mokwede Foundation with an encouragement of cash prize worth 500,000 naira for each awardees.
It is my understanding that annually 43 public servants will be recognized in this fashion, and so with effect from the 2022 Civil Service Awards ceremony, on behalf of the Ige Mokwede Foundation, we will be putting an endowment with effect from this award session, whereby each awardee receives a cash prize of 500,000 naira. And in the interest of digital culture, the credits will go directly to your accounts.
Among his many certifications, affiliations, and fellowships, Ige Mokwede holds Triumph MBA from the London School of Economics, New York University, and HEC Paris. He attended an executive management program at Harvard Business School in the year 2000, and he is a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, also appointed to the International Advisory Board of Oxford University's Blavatnik School of Government. Ige Mokwede is a honorary fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria and had received an honorary doctorate of science from Olabisi Onabanjo University in 2018. Also honored by Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers of Nigeria last year in a groundbreaking ceremony.
If the operators of our markets, of a nation's capital markets, are properly resourced in terms of skill, capacity, and conduct, nothing can stop that nation and its citizens from leaving the tarmac and moving from third world to first world. Nothing can stop it. The correlation between the advancement of financial markets and the advancement of national economies is perfect. It's not almost, it is perfect. And so, you understand why I have tied myself to the future of this market and why I have tried from the very word go that my voice was heard to get the public sector and the elite within the private sector to understand that we cannot ignore this market.
Igboje is the first African co-chairman of the Global Business Coalition on Health and chairman of the Friends of the Global Fund, Africa. The business mogul has made significant donations to the Global Fund. He is the vice chairman of the Global Citizen Nigeria and creator of the Nigerian Solidarity Support Fund. There is always a story, or say many stories, behind every success, and this Ige Mokwede has shared in a book called Leaving the Tarmac, Buying a Bank in Africa, Red Door 2020. In it, he talked about how he and others turned Access Bank into a major success, showing his determination and vision.
On a personal note, I think the first thing is that I left Access Bank. I retired as CEO in 2013, and I knew that I needed time off just to recharge my battery, so to speak. I didn't think I would have more than a year and a half before my perpetual motion character, kind of took over once again. And so I wanted to use that period as productively as possible. So I had a year and a half, and what better to do in a year and a half, than write a book. And for me, it was an opportunity, for posterity to tell the story to my children in a structured sense, because before then, I just hadn't had the opportunity to sit down with my kids and say, this is what I did today, or this is what I did yesterday, and these are the highs and the lows of this journey. Herbert and I went through a hell of an experience between 2002 and 2013, and for him, that experience has continued. We learned so much, we were exposed to so many things. We had...
Take Nigeria, because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
A very good morning to you and welcome to SOUQ Business Landscape, your trusted window into Africa's evolving economy, market dynamics, and development frontiers. On the program today, we track how innovation, policy, and global trends are reshaping the business environment from Abuja to Washington and from Lagos to Sydney, from the Corporate Affairs Commission's AI breakthrough in business registration to new regional cooperation on fuel pricing, to the World Bank's endorsement of Nigeria health reform, and even a critical minerals pact between the United States and Australia. Each story reflects the intersection of technology, policy, and trade driving today's business landscape. You're welcome once again to our program this morning. I am Oyinpriye Krumale. I have two delectable personalities here, and we hope to be doing justice to our conversation today. Not just two alone, we have someone who is joining us virtually, and that's Ayanuba Oluwagbenga Paul. Good morning to you. But let me start from the lady, since there's the word that says the ladies first. Good morning to you, Swift.
Good morning, Priye. Good morning, Olumide. How you doing?
Morning.
How was your night?
Very good.
You look good. You look like you slept well.
Oh, thank you.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. Abraham Lincoln says that the ballot is more powerful than the bullet. And today we are going to be analyzing our freedom of speech while we talk about every issue that is politically right and we analyze it. My name is Swift Aderito. Get ready to be blown away. Good morning.
Okay, good morning to you.
Good morning, Priye. Good morning,
the gentlest of them all.
Good morning and welcome to SOUQ Business Landscape. Let's talk business, development, and economy.
Okay, now let's welcome Ayanuba Oluwagbenga Paul, who is joining us virtually. Good morning to you, Benga. Welcome.
Good morning to you, Priye. Good morning, Swift. And I don't know the name of the third man there. Olumide. Good morning to you. It's nice to be here once again and to add our own 2 cents to national development.
Yes, it's great to hear your voice again, Paul. Now, before we jump into the business of delay, let me intimate you as the routine demands of what we will be prosecuting today. First, the Corporate Affairs Commission has introduced an artificial intelligence-powered company registration portal, enabling entrepreneurs to register businesses in less than 10 minutes. The innovation aims to automate and simplify Nigeria's corporate registration process, aligning with government efforts to enhance the ease of doing business. Secondly, we will show you the Central Bank of Nigeria. It has proposed new guidelines mandating banks to process refunds for failed ATM transactions within 24 hours to 48 hours. The Bank Customers Association of Nigeria has applauded the initiative as a major step toward protecting consumers and rebuilding confidence in electronic banking. And thirdly, we'll bring you energy regulators' story across West Africa, where they are forming a regional forum to harmonize fuel pricing and improve cross-border petroleum trading. That sounds very, very good, but let's see how it's going to work out. The initiative aims to create standard pricing systems, regional trading hubs, and enhanced cooperation among countries to stabilize fuel supply and market efficiency. Our fourth story is on Nigeria's sector-wide approach, SOUQ. It's a model that coordinates investments from government, private sector, and development partners. The health sector has received official endorsement from the World Bank and the World Health Organization. The model promotes accountability, collaboration, and sustainability in health care, financing, and delivery. And lastly, the United States and Australia have signed a critical minerals agreement aimed at reducing dependency on China for essential raw materials used in clean energy, defense, and advanced technology production. The deal is part of the broader strategic cooperation under the AUKUS alliance. And you know, since this fight between the United States and China on minerals, you can see the United States looking for other places to make sure they can access this raw earth materials that will give them the wherewithal to continue producing their defense equipment. Meanwhile, they also altered some of their own critical resources to China. So China will be looking at other directions to equally get saved. We hope the African countries are doing likewise. We'll go on a break. When we come back from this break, we'll jump into the business of the day. The SOUQ Business Landscape. We're reaching live from our studios. To stay with us.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on SOUQ Business Landscape this morning. Now, the Corporate Affairs Commission has launched its artificial intelligence-powered companies registration portal, targeting business registrations in under 10 minutes. The Registrar General and the Chief Executive Officer, Hussaini Ishaq Magaji San, announced the development at the 2025 CAC Management Retreat held in Kaduna. Magaji, who also marked his second anniversary in office, reiterated that the June 30th, 2025 launch as a major breakthrough in Nigeria's corporate registration reforms. He hailed the ICRP as a revolution in service delivery aimed at reducing bureaucracy, delays, and enhancing transparency in business registration. The AI-driven portal is expected to streamline companies' registration processes by automating tasks and minimizing human interference. This innovation aligns with the federal government's drive to improve the ease of doing business and promote digital transformation across public services. CAC believes the ICRP will set a new benchmark in service efficiency nationwide. One of the issues that we are conversant with before now is that when you need to register your business. I remember those days I used to work for multiple people. They're all in one office. They use one office space, but they are different companies.
Okay.
So I was like an admin there, sitting at the front desk. So one of the boss of the organization would tell me, "Hey, go buy my ticket, book my flight. I'm traveling out of the country." The other one would tell me, "Hey, I need to register a subsidiary of the same organization that is, currently operating." And that's how I was moving down to somewhere in Alausa and Ikeja there for registration. When you get there, you have to wait in queue. You see some officials to look at the description, then they tell you, okay, go back, tell them to do this, that, and the other, and you go. It's quite a tedious process, and I'm not surprised. I believe that since that time till now, there's been monumental improvement.
Yes.
But now, the target is 10 minutes.
Yes, it's quite interesting. I've had similar experience because I wanted to register something that time. Recently, I think I was last year, and I even had to hire a middleman, intermediary, which most people do. They rather prefer to hire a lawyer.
Yes.
They do a name search for 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, then you make payment, and everything goes there. So, but with this new innovation, under 10 minutes, that's fast. That's super fast. Which means, give or take, it will be since it's AI, and AI is global. So the name search will run smoothly. You get your name search, you get your name approved, then you pay for your registration, business name, and maybe under minutes also you get your whether it's via print or you have to get it electronically, your certificate, your CAC certificate. It's cool. Now, the advantages of this is, number one, speed, faster registration process. Number two, efficiency, because yes, less manual processing means fewer errors. It's different when you write something and you give someone to register and he writes something else.
Yes.
This one, you will type it yourself. So it's efficient. Also, transparency. No room for corruption. No room for someone to tell you, bring 50,000, bring this, bring that. You go online, you see everything, and you do it by yourself. You make payment by yourself. Also, accessibility. Now it's accessible. You don't have to go through any middleman. You do it yourself. Entrepreneurs have the opportunity now to just go online and do it. Also, cost saving. Like you said, you have to leave your office to go to Alausa. I don't have to leave.
The back and forth.
Back and forth.
Corrections.
I don't have to do that. I just have to sit at the comfort of my house or in my office and I run the thing. Now, let's look at some of the things that might hinder this. One, digital literacy barrier.
Digital literacy barrier.
Yes, we still have a long way to go. We still have to educate people. Because whether you like it or not, how many people actually understand how to use a computer? That's number one. So there's digital barrier. So we now have to start creating workshops to also educate people that you can do this online. This is how it is. It is easy. Also, internet access. Yes, internet is improving, but we still, in the rural, what about the rural areas? Internet access is also something. So that way, we have to also look at internet access too. So what I would also recommend is on the portal, let's have some sort of like in different portals now, you have a small space where you can chat with someone online who will guide you through the whole process.
It's CAC official. They'll be constantly online.
Online to chat, to give you all the solutions. It's a good move. Efficiency, speed, accuracy, accessibility. It's good.
Swift.
Yes. So
what's your take on it?
So brilliancy, I think it's a very good move from the federal government. This is World Global Standard. I remember, I think about 6 months ago, I had a lawyer on radio, on the ILFM, and we're talking about corporate registrations and the importance of registering your company. And so she told me a story of, like Olumide had said, where people now meet a lawyer or a legal firm to say, oh, help me. And this particular legal firm, what the guy does is, he would register your company for yourself and himself. He will so smartly use some legal, words, and at the end, when dividends is coming, he has a percentage of your company. So there was a particular man that...
Why?
Because he can. He's the one registering your company. You don't understand what you are doing.
Okay.
Someone
was doing that, and that was illegal. That was illegal.
Yes, the middleman, and this guy collects money from you, and you don't know that he's registering your company as Swift and JCO. So when you say, why didn't you just register it as Swift? He will tell you that, Swift, the name Swift was not available. And JCO, but like JCO said, don't worry, it's one of those things. And JCO is him, for example. So by the time dividends start coming, in fact, they said the guy put himself as part of the shareholders. What saved the man was his first son had graduated from a university abroad, came and decided to look through paperwork. And why are we paying? Who is this person we are paying? Daddy, you didn't tell me we had another partner. And the father said, no, we don't have any partner. And by the time he went down, they started to trace it. And it was the person who registered the company. So at this point, she was talking about the reforms from CAC. That was 6 months ago. That CAC was already doing some reforms. They had some legal practitioners who now, because they noticed a lot of people had registered companies like that innocently, who would now sit you down and say, okay, this is what it states in your statement, you know, you can change this name, you can do this. Also, there was a rule that the first person that comes up with the name is the person that gets, you know, the name, even if you have been using the brand for a bit. CSC2 is trying to review some of those things, because they have seen cases where a particular person has been working on a certain brand for years, and somebody just
but not registered the company.
Maybe out of illiteracy, you know, you are not financially capable or you're not exposed, and someone else just comes. So they are trying to see ways, okay, you can change the names. For example, when Kiss Daniel had an issue with his record label, he simply did one thing, changed it from, you
Kiss
know,
to Keys.
Kiss, that's Kiss, to Kizz.
Okay.
And that went, and that was the end of the case. You understand? So he still retained his name, but he went. So they have been, CSC has been working. And right now, to maintain global standards, how else is it to take out these lawyers from putting themselves into your company now, become shareholders, because they are the ones registering and they are handling all your documentation that are registering online. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's fantastic. It's the next step for us to go in business.
Okay, I still have my doubts. 10 minutes and bureaucracy, as is stated, it does not. Do we mean that the incorporation of AI is going to completely defeat bureaucracy as is being portrayed? Let's get Oluwabenga's point of take at this moment.
I have no doubt that 10 minutes is visible, especially knowing that all these people are copying Lagos State. And Lagos State has shown itself as a leader. Recently, I think early this year, Lagos State launched LRP. Is it early this year or late last year? Lagos State launched LRP, that's Lagos State registration portal that brought all the payments in Lagos State under one banner. So, and if they can do that, and within less than 10 minutes, there is no registration, confirmation, or whatever you want to do that cannot be done. So, CAC doing it is not novel. It's just taking the case forward. And I must give kudos not just to CAC alone, but it seems now that there is interagency collaboration, better interagency collaboration amongst all the ages. And for the first time, I see Nigerian government trying to build a house from the foundation and not from the rooftop. What do I mean? So we are going to be having the new tax law taking effect from January. And some of the things that people will be needing to separate their personal finance from their company finance is to register businesses. And what better way to get that done than having a portal that will help you register your business in 10 minutes, and then you get everything sorted. Like all of you have rightly pointed out, a lot of the bureaucratic bottleneck will be removed with this. And I think that they should extend the capacity of this portal to correcting already registered companies. So if you have already registered your company and maybe you are yet to do your TIN for your company, or you are yet to do your bank accounts and all the whatnots that may be giving you delay, and you want to harmonize all of these things, I think this portal should be able to allow you to do all of that, not just to register company alone, but for those who have already registered before now, so that they can be able to do all those corrections from the comfort of their home. Because what that will mean for the government is that more people will be brought into the tax net, more people will be able to get all the bottlenecks that is stopping them from doing the right thing all this while out of the way, and then they will be able to get things done that will be a win for the people, a win for the government. Because what having your business properly registered and structured does for you is that it will allow you access to loans, it will allow you access to grants. There are so many international grants out there that small and medium scale businesses could benefit from, but because they do not have structured and registered name and things like that, even as an MC, once in a while when I get big jobs, I mean the real correct job, they will say you need a company that has an RC number. before we can give you this job. You can imagine the first time it happened to me, I almost lost that job. I almost wanted to run mad. But thank God that I had an elder brother because my own company has BN, that's business name, because his own company has RC, and I was able to use his company to collect the job. And so there are lots of small and medium scale businesses like me too out there who, need this. And so we must give kudos to the federal government, to the CAC chairman, and I believe they can always continue to improve on it. On the issue of middleman not being sidelined, I don't think middlemen will be sidelined because, like Olumide has rightly said, the computer literacy issue. So a lot of small scale, maybe farmers, artisans, and all the rest will need to register their companies so that they too can scale up. They will still need these middlemen. So rather than the middlemen trying to sabotage the government, when I mean middlemen trying to sabotage the government, it's not just middlemen from without, also middlemen from within, because we will be lying to ourselves if we say we don't know that there are parts of the agency who help people. They go out of their official functional role to help people. And we need them to help people too. Even though you might say it's bad, you might say it's conflict of interest.
Paul.
Yes.
Yes, before I come to Louis and Swift, I need you to include this whilst you are giving your perspective. Now, most people see this disposition from the CAC as democratizing the space and also bringing some form of business inclusivity for those who are not aware and they've not registered their businesses, even though they've started operating and running their businesses since time immemorial. And this specific initiative, don't you think is from bottom up or is it from top down? The reason why I'm asking, you mentioned RCN and the TIN, which can be inculcated into the same platform. But most times, most people I'm familiar with, they want to get a job, they bid for a contract from an organization, they want to get the job, and the company is telling them, even if you are the best organization that we've seen that you have the capacity to handle this project, we are not going to give it to you if you do not have a registered company, because when our finances and audits are going to be queried in our organization, they need to know who and who we make payments to. Do you think this practice has actually sanitized the system and, added to the good thing that the CAC has done?
That's exactly what it has done. That is exactly what it has done. And that was why I was using myself as an example when I wanted to collect one BGMC job that year. And the company said, no, they will, because I don't have RC, because my company has BN. So they wanted a company that has RC number. And quickly I was able to submit with my brother's company name. And because they have already made us gone through interviews with them, and they were quite pleased with my handling, and they felt they wanted me to do the job. So they were patient with me to get that thing sorted. But like you have said, some organization based on time constraints and whatever competitiveness is going on there, they may not have that kind of patience. So this is what CAC has done. And one kudos we must give to CAC is that over time, like if you have error with or you want to even check your NIN number, you have to pay every time you check. We must give kudos to CAC because I think over time, before even now, if you want to check your CAC number, all you just need is to go to their website or download the CAC app, and then you'll be able to check for free, which we must give kudos to them because that extortion that NIN is doing or NIMC is doing, NIMC will make mistake on your name and they will still ask you to pay to correct the mistake that they made, but CAC has not been doing that from time. So we must give kudos to those who are managing the CAC over time. They've been doing well. This is just a further feather to their cap. And I think that once they extend their IT units, will continue to see some of the challenge they encounter along the way, and they will continue to correct them And what I can only ask for is that they should do proper funding for their IT units. Because you see, IT units is not a money-making unit. So people tend to neglect them in this kind of climate. They will say, how much did you bring in? Meanwhile, the money that other people who are bringing money in will not come in if the IT unit is not well funded. So I believe that if they fund their IT units well to have good servers, good all the materials that they need, including latest computers and all the rest, then they will, as they continue to meet challenges that will be brought up in the process of implementing this novel idea, this new idea, they will be able to swiftly correct it and then get better.
Great, thank you. In rounding up, Olumide.
Yes, in rounding up, now, this is a very good initiative.
Can you add this too? When it looks like more people are going to be more businesses are going to be coming in to register, most especially in the informal sector, that's quite a huge driver of the Nigerian economy. Do we see government taxation running up as a result?
Yes, I will get that. So in running, in this new initiative, it's a partner with Oasis. Oasis, that's the company that's providing them these services, AI services. So another area CAC need to look at is data privacy.
Okay.
Because you are loaning this particular thing out, service out to someone, or you're partnering with someone now. So data privacy, because these people are going to be collecting personal data of people. And people need to be assured that their data, because data is the new gold, data is assured, is protected. So CAC needs to work on that. Also, from what I read, they are also, just like I said earlier on, the assistant, online assistant, they are also monitoring, seeing how they would monitor approvals.
Okay.
So they will not have multiple registrations and all that. Also, from what I read here also, it's supposed to reserve your name, approve your name, and print it under 10 minutes.
Okay.
According to Magaji, the Registrar General, he said it's a miracle how this thing was achieved, but he praised the whole scenario. But in doing this, we also have to remember that it is also illegal if you register your name and you do not pay tax. It is illegal. So have it at the back of your mind that as you are registering your business, you are liable to pay tax. Now, the good thing about the new tax is if you earn below, or if your revenue is below 25 million, you've been given a tax holiday. But also you need, now this is where financial literacy also comes in. So you need both digital literacy and financial literacy. You need to be educated that, so, and it's not just, we have different types of registration. There's limited liability, there's partnership, there's this, there's that. So you need to understand. And a lot of people tend to go for the limited liability. There are other packages, depending on the business
that you
run. If it's a partnership, register it on a partnership. If it's limited liability, but most people, because we have this ownership mentality, that I want to own my business, I don't want to share it with everyone, but you have to also understand. Then you also you need to understand what trademarking is. It's also good, as you're registering your business, you can also trademark it so that no one else would use that.
Logo.
And other. And this so-called Dirty December that we are doing, someone has trademarked that particular Dirty December, so nobody else can use it. That's a smart. So in as much as you are registering your name, also remember you need to pay tax.
Great. And we need to run to our next story. And this is not quite far from the one we just talked about. I'm very, very certain it's going to interest you. From November 1st, 2025, ChatGPT users in Nigeria will pay more for subscriptions as OpenAI begins applying a 7.5% value-added tax on all paid services in compliance with the Nigerian tax regulations. The VAT will affect all billable offerings, including ChatGPT Plus, raising the monthly subscription fee from 31,500 naira, that's about $20, to approximately 33,862 naira, 50 cup, about $22.43. This aligns with Section 10 of the Value Added Tax Act and the Federal Inland Revenue Service Information Circular 2019, OpenAI announced the change via email to Nigerian users, citing legal obligations under Nigerian tax law. The move reflects a broader trend of digital service providers adapting to local tax compliance across global markets. OpenAI, ChatGPT, is now going to be taxing Nigerians. That is 7.5%. It's not me. Your government put it there, 7.5%. And I begin to, if this is going to be happening, obviously OpenAI should be paying tax.
That's what it's saying.
Because indirectly, this is what he's saying, that it's paying tax to the Nigerian government.
Yeah.
Yes, it's paying tax to the Nigerian government, not just for local firms, but also foreign firms that are making use of it, or accessing whatever they're accessing in Nigeria. They are going to pay tax. They're going to pay this VAT. Now, so some people might now see as conflicting is, doesn't this seem like double taxation? Because I'm paying tax for every other thing. Data that I buy, I'm paying tax for that. Every other thing I'm buying. Now I'm also paying tax for AI. So it might seem, to some, it might seem like double taxation for local firms or local or Nigerian citizens.
Okay.
But I see it as also a good one. It improves tax compliance. It means that, yes, we are charting the right course. We are taxing every company. Every company is paying tax. Every company is tax compliant, which is good. Also, it creates a level playing field. Also, it means that more revenue for the government, which is good, which is what we've been trying to clamor for, so that if the government is generating more money from taxes, we will borrow less.
Okay, but
so first of all, Priya, there's something I need to state. People have always paid for ChatGPT.
No, there are services that they are paid services.
I just wanted it to be there. That people have always paid. There's the free side, which most people use, which would continue. So let people not be too scared. There's a free side. But if you want to use ChatGPT for major things, major companies, whereas on your laptops, it's official, you pay for it. Now, people in Nigeria, companies have always paid for it, certain companies. And you and I, like me, I don't pay for ChatGPT because I just use the free side. If they want to collect money, they should carry their ChatGPT and go. There's another AI. Now, the good thing about this is, first of all, is, like you said, like Rumide said, is revenue generation for the country. It is important because 70% or at least 50% of this revenue goes back into IT startups, which is something we need. Now, the good thing about this money going back into IT startup means that our own IT people can develop a local AI, which has been going on. We have been seeing some AIs that now speak Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa. These are local AI people, so that they can also, with these monies, they can compete with the international. So that's where I'm coming from. As much as, it's more, people are going to pay more, let's also look at the brighter side. Let's also look at the fact that if you live in Europe, you live in America, you live in Canada, you live in China, you are paying even more for AI use. It's Nigeria that we find a way to, just hack and use all these things free. Over there, people have been paying for Google, people pay for Facebook, people pay for, Instagram. People have been paying from time. So let's just note that if we want to go to the global standards, which we have been screaming for, then we need to prep to enter the global standards by doing this. It's painful, but it's necessary.
I'm also looking at some business opportunities. For instance, now other developers, local developers will see this as an opportunity to develop their own competitive AI.
Yes.
That will be very competitive. We give some juicy packages. Maybe OpenAI is offering 2,000, another company is offering 1,005. It becomes competitive. So it's a good one. And it will also now encourage, or will I say, put it out there that any other firm that is bringing in anything AI, you have to pay for tax. You have to pay for VAT.
Great. This is it's more like paying for some AI services. It's a peculiar services that is not available to the general people that uses AI. And those are not only brand specific. As an individual, too, it can be a personal, specific AI. Now, let's go to Oluwabenga. Do you pay for your AI use?
Yes.
Do you have AI-specific services?
No, for now, I don't have any, even though I use AI a lot to do a whole lot of things. There was a time when I was bored. I was even using AI to write songs, write jokes, and all the rest. So, but like Sweet has said, there are free platforms, and the extent to which you go to that are free. If you want to go further to do things that are more tailor-made for you, that is when you will need to upgrade and pay. And if you can pay 30,000 or 31,000, paying 33,000 is not an issue as far as I am concerned. And it's not just the AI company. Yes, it's OpenAI that has made its own announcement, but this cut across almost every services across the country, and many of them have either been underpaying or not been paying at all before now, which they don't do in other countries. So we must give kudos to the government for bringing everybody to tax net. It may look like an extra burden, but I don't see it as extra burden on anybody, because the people who use these services to the extent of paying, the value they get from it outweighs the amount they spend. There is this video editing app that I used to pay for. In fact, if it were not for stinginess or nonchalance, I would have paid for a lifetime payment for that app when it was just 16,000 naira, you know. And so I just thought, oh, I need it for I go pay tomorrow. I go.
Okay, I think we have network glitch there. But first of all, before we bring back Oluwagbinga, C Governor is saying that CAC registration simplified is a positive direction. It's a positive position. Hashtag SBL. That's coming from C Governor. Keep the comments coming, and we will read them out as the program progresses. Now, it looks like the Nigerian government is having a diversified tax base, because now we are moving on to digital taxation. And this in itself is, stares us in the face that, look, we are really done some diversifying from our major revenue generating source, which is oil. How far do you see us make even more progress beyond where we are now?
Yes, I see us making more progress, because one of the things the NRS will be offering or will be doing is tracking accounts. Okay. So now, when you start to track people's accounts, you know their inflows and outflows. So that is why it is also now the onus is rested on the person with that account to put forward to CAC that, oh, you saw 90 million in my account. That 90 million is not profit. This is what I did. This is what I did. But if you just leave it there, they would assume that, oh, this is the profit you made. They will run the tax on that. They will calculate it for you and just wait for you. Okay. So the onus now is now rested on you to make sure you file everything, open up your books. This is transparency. This would also build trust in the minds of people that, okay, fine. Now people are, owning up to what they are doing. And the fact that we've been also given a tax holiday for those who are earning below 25 million. I see that as something President Tinubu has in his mind to make to ease the business of certain people, SMEs, mostly SMEs. That, okay, these people, they are, for us to be able to thrive and expand in this economy, we have to be given some certain incentives, which is quite good. So us going digital now is good. And I like the fact that it's not just the NRS, it's moving to the CAC, it's moving to FRS, it's moving across all agencies. I'm also waiting for the security agencies to come on board to digitize everything. That is when we can now say, yes, this is true e-governance.
Great. That is when we can say that is through e-governance. Oluwagbinga, yes, we know you are back. Sorry about the glitch, but we need to go on a break. And when we return, SOUQ Business Landscape continues. Do stay with us.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Dr. SOUQ A. Adedeji, whose leadership has significantly transformed Nigeria's tax administration, is a distinguished first-class graduate in accounting from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and he currently serves as the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
I firmly believe in the wisdom encapsulated in the statements. Revenue growth is the lifeblood of the nation's economy, providing means to fulfill essential duties to its citizens. These words capture the core principle that will guide us as we navigate the challenging terrain ahead, ensuring that our nation thrives and fulfills its obligation to its citizens. In our pursuit of greater fiscal future, we are determined to align ourselves with President Bola Tinubu's Extreme Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform Committee. This collaboration will enable us to shape the prosperous fiscal landscape that will empower our nation's growth and development.
Born on January 8, 1978 in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, Nigeria, Dr. Adedeji is an accomplished accountant and public officer with extensive expertise in corporate taxation and public finance. His journey in public service began in 2011 when he was appointed as Commissioner for Finance in Oyo State. In that capacity, Adedeji introduced transformative financial reforms, most notably the establishment of the Treasury Single Account (TSA) to streamline government revenues and expenditures. In March 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Adedeji as Executive Secretary of the National Sugar Development Council (NSCDC). In this capacity, he founded the Nigeria Sugar Institute and spearheaded the Sugar Backward Integration Program, which sought to enhance local sugar production and reduce reliance on foreign imports. In June 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed Adedeji as Special Advisor on Revenue, and by September of that same year, he had ascended to the position of Executive Chairman of FIRS, Nigeria's leading tax authority responsible for the assessment, collection, and management of federal taxes.
The focus will be on these indirect taxes, so that as long as you consume, you have to pay. As long as you have interest on your investment, you have to pay. And this is echoing Mr. President's message that we are not going to tax the seed, but we are going to tax the fruit. The fruit is what we focus on. So all those things, when we have this holistic process, it will be captured, and that the vision is to have a progressive tax, that if you earn more, you pay more, and if you earn less, you will not pay.
Under his leadership, FIRS exceeded its 2023 revenue target of 11.55 trillion naira. As chairman of FIRS, Dr. Adedeji implemented a performance-based system aligning with the service's new slogan, simplifying tax, maximizing revenue.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. We've been talking about finances, AI, from the beginning of the show, and we are not leaving that anytime soon. Let's continue. The Bank Customers Association of Nigeria has thrown its weight behind the Central Bank of Nigeria's proposed draft guidelines for automated teller machine operations, especially the recommended 24 to 48 hours refund period for failed transactions. The Bank Customers Association of Nigerian President, Dr. Uju Ogubunka, in a chat on Monday, described the faster refund policy as a welcome development that would ease the frustration of customers and strengthen confidence in electronic banking. He emphasized that timely resolution of failed ATM transactions has long been a concern for Nigerians, and this move could restore trust in digital banking services. According to the draft guidelines, the CBN intends to set clear rules for processing and resolving ATM failures, mandating instant funds or refunds for on-us transaction, 24 hours reversal for manual errors, and 48 hours for third-party, not on-us transactions. The policy also includes security upgrades such as CCTV, anti-skimming technology, and improved ATM uptime. Okay, but first of all, the Bank Customers Association of Nigeria. Olumide, do you belong to that association, SWIFT? I don't even know Bank Customers Association of Nigeria. We have a leader. We don't even know him. I want to...
That's what we are saying. I did not even know we had. So I remember years ago, I was at the bank and they were doing this. They were doing a carnival. The bank was having some event, and then I started to talk to the manager and I said, "Shame on you. When last during Christmas? Because when I was growing up, when my mom at that point, my mom was using. Can I call the name of the bank? During Christmas, when you go to the bank, they give you calendars, diaries as customers.
Okay.
When last did your bank give you anything?
Well, they wished me happy birthday.
And tax you and tax you for the text. Later you will pay.
Now, when last did your bank give you anything?
Okay.
So if we have an association leader, shame on him.
Bank Customers Association of Nigeria.
It's good that I do not belong to that association, but I have someone fighting for.
But you're a bank customer.
They are not fighting for you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, they are.
That's what about this.
When last did your bank give you a gift? This one is Greek gift. When last did you need something and your bank, Christmas, birthdays,
Okay,
I told you about calendars, diaries.
I went in one of the banks close by that last week or last 2 weeks. They were celebrating their customer week. They gave me a diary, they gave me a pen, and they gave me sweets.
And you did not tell me your bank.
That means you must have lots of accounts in that. All right, so
let's get into the conversation. 48 hours, 28 hours refund. Olumide.
I'm happy because this matter touched me personally. Because I've said it on this table, a particular day I went to buy suya at my area and I transferred 2,000 and he didn't see it to that same account. And other people came right after me and they were transferring and he was showing me and I stood there for almost 2 hours and had to do another transfer. Now, this kind of thing has happened to me regularly and, you know, maybe some other people might not have that luxury of just letting it go because walking down from my office to the bank to start raising my voice for 2,000 naira, 1,000 naira, 3,000 naira, you know, it might seem somehow. You know? So sometimes I've had to let go. But I remember there was a particular time I did an online service. The money was deducted. I went to the bank. They said I should come back after 5 working days. 5 business working days. I just left.
And you let go.
Recently also, I did another transaction on Sunday. The money was deducted. I had to go on X. I sent them a mail. I had to go on X.
They didn't respond to your mail.
They didn't respond to my mail. I had to go on X to call them out on X. And within 15 minutes, the matter was resolved.
They rectified the problem. Why did they have to? But you sent a mail. Why didn't they do? Okay.
So now, this means that people now, I hope and I pray, I think where they are going now is to build trust, confidence back in the minds of people that 24 to 48 hours you will get, 24, let's say it's the bank, 48 if it's third party, maybe an online service and all that, which your bank deducted. I hope the CBN has to now closely monitor the compliance, especially from banks. They need to ensure that banks refund this. There also has to be some form of literacy, financial literacy, education, awareness. We also need to educate the people of their rights, their refund rights. People need to know that if the bank deducts a money and the service is not provided, they have to refund that money. I think maybe when people start to seek other means of litigation, maybe these banks will sit up, but this is also a good move.
Okay. You mentioned litigation. You deducted 600 naira from your account without just cause. Would you want to go to the courts for that purpose? But that's just by the way, because that's how most Nigerians just leave their money. About 1,000, 2,000, most Nigerians just let
so much.
Benga, maybe you belong, maybe you are a member of the bankers, the Bank Customers Association of Nigeria. So let's get your position. The CBN has come up to intervene. But if you remember vividly, during the Naira swap policy where Emefiele and Buhari were on top of their games, the CBN gave directives and the banks, the commercial banks, called off their bluff. Do you think this is going to be different?
I don't think they will be able to call off the bluff of CBN in this one because the new sheriff in town at the CBN, at the Ministry of Finance, and other agencies that have oversight functions over banks, they are people. Like there is a saying that. Meaning a thief knows how to identify the footprints of another even on a rocky hill. So they know that these are people whom they can play with, that they don't just come up with policies without having gone through all the dots and the T's properly. So I don't think they can call a bluff of this federal government. Don't forget that when this federal government said they should update their bank capacity, the amount of money that they have to a certain billion, all of them quickly went to the public market now to start selling shares in order to meet up to the new market capitalization requirements that was set for them by the CBN. So I don't think they can call a bluff of the CBN. On the Bankers Association that you mentioned earlier, I think some people just come up with all of these associations to get because some of these associations too gives you privilege, like privilege to travel for certain events. If there is a bankers event, worldwide bankers event, for example, the people who position themselves as executive of this association will likely be called, will be given free air tickets, hotel accommodation, and all the rest. And that's how they make their money. So you see smart people always forming one association or the other. And I've observed also, you might say that I'm being tribalistic, but I've observed also that it's a people from a certain part of the country that are very smart to quickly found this organization and they put themselves as executives. And maybe by the time they become popular, they will now put maybe PRO, another person from another tribe, maybe ex officio, another person from another tribe. But the main flux of the association, like maybe the president, the secretary general, the general secretary, the finance, you see that they are the one dominating it. I've seen it a lot of times, and that is why sometimes I don't take some of these associations serious. Because, like you have pointed out, the example of during the currency policy swap,
yes.
I doubt if I had their voice, vociferously around that issue around that time. So, despite the fact that it was very more important to the life and health of Nigerian banking customers that time. But I think that on this issue of 48 hours, is achievable. I mean, the CAC story we touched on earlier shows to you that many of these things are not rocket science, they are achievable. The challenge that many of our banks had, if you observe, you would observe that there's a downward trend in responsiveness for many of our banks. It's like many of our banks were operating at the level of PhD before, and now they are operating at the level of a primary school start holder in terms of their responsiveness, online, and all the rest. And the reason for that is not far-fetched. There's a lot of migration of IT experts from many of the banks to other nations where they are treated well or paid better. And that gives a lot of gap, because before you could employ new IT staff, train them to be up to standard. And when you train them, you are also afraid that nobody will train you finish now and then you will run away to another country. So all of those factors is giving a lot of challenge to the IT sector or IT department of many of banking companies. And so that's why they are having many of these challenges. The example of the mail you said you sent before calling them out, they have sometimes thousands, if not 100,000 of mail to answer to per day. So your mail can easily get lost. When you now call them out, you tag their handle, there's a way that one gives them a prompt and they will be able to. But you see, if they employ more people in the IT sector and embrace more of the expensive technology, which many of them actually embrace, but it shows to you that people need to be at the back end operating this technology to make it work. So they need more people, and they will be able to meet up this target by the CBN. It's not rocket science. It is achievable if especially they have what they do most of the time before now is that they know that, like you have said, would you take them to court because of 600 naira or because of 1,000 or 2,000 naira? So they know that a lot of people will give up on the matter, and that's why they misbehave. Even most of the time, this shaming culture that we Nigerians have, that if you come online and then you talk about how your 600 naira or 1,000 naira is taken illegally, people, rather than help you find solution or commiserate with you, they will be laughing at you that, oh, so you are so broke, you complain about 600 naira. And so because of that shaming culture, a lot of people will just say, oh, let me just give up on it. But with this law now, all you just need to do is write them, copy CBN, and if they don't do it within 48 hours, they are in trouble.
Great. Now, before we go to our next story, Olumide.
No, I haven't talked.
Yes.
I will fight you before you begin.
Sorry.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was the bank accountability to customers is key. Because I have a 20,000 naira that has been pending since March. I was supposed to transfer to a certain account, to a certain bank, and I mistakenly put the wrong number. And then I went to my bank, and from the customer service, they started to tell me, madam, it's just 20,000. I don't know if you will get it back, because inter-transfer, if it was the same bank, from customer service. It got to a stage I had to tell the guy, I said, can you give me 20,000 naira? And he was like, mama, you be big woman. I said, no, don't say that. And this has lingered on. This is 6 months. At a stage, I even gave up.
20,000
20K. That was March. Till date. It's not refunded. So now with this policy... You
mistakenly transferred it to another account.
So instead of maybe putting 0 at the end of the number, I put 9. But it was from one bank to another bank.
But how can the bank get back that money? Because they need the consent of the owner of the other bank.
I wrote an official letter, which is what you do. You write an official letter stating the account, the name of the account. Then they write to the other bank. The other bank, of course, holds on to that person's account. And once money enters, they're supposed to now debit back to my bank. But the idea is the lackadaisical attitude when it comes to customers and banking in Nigeria is very clear. So I'll give you an instance. I had a friend who had the same issue, but he transferred to another bank, but with a UK branch. In 2 days, they had refunded money back to Nigeria. 2 days or less than a day, in hours. Because if you hold on to money that is mistakenly transferred and the person has already, sent an alert there, they have like I think a 4 or 5 hours policy that after 4-5 hours, you as the bank, you are going to pay the customer, because those ones will sue you for damages. They will tell you that the emotional trauma they went through for that period, that they couldn't access their 20,000, it affected them in the office. In fact, they will take a day off. But in Nigeria, because we don't do a lot of things, people are not held accountable. That is why my bank, the customer service person, we have the gut to look me in the eye and say, madam, it's inter-transfer. I don't know if you are going to get this money back. If it was somewhere else, for a customer service person to even have had that conversation with me alone, it's something I should record, and that person will be sacked, and the bank will be sanctioned. So it means that you are not even ready to work. You are not ready to take the next step forward. And this happens a lot. I've seen people go to banks, seen people cry, but the way rich people are treated, because I had a friend I was sitting beside, and his boss mistakenly transferred whether 30 million naira. In less than 4 days, the 30 million naira was transferred back to him.
But I needed to say something.
20K is still hanging.
Let me say something.
Yes.
First of all, even though
He's a
this
premium
is,
customer.
Okay, but Olumide, even though this is your bank, your bank does not have the legal right or the authority to get your money out of your account. Wait, I'm coming.
I agree.
Out of your account without your consent.
We agree.
Without your consent.
We
so
agree.
probably it is that person who the money got into
it's easy.
And he spent the money and will not allow other monies to come into the account.
This is the structure. I send immediately. I send you an email stating this. You tell me, send me transaction notice. I send you the transaction notice.
To the bank or to the owner of the account.
My own bank immediately sends to that account. That account is flagged.
Okay.
It may take 3 to 6 months, but they will send it back. Many times when people even receive money like that, they are willing to send back. Do you know what someone in my bank told me? You know that if you can now go to that bank and if you can stylishly get that person's account and now call that customer, he will send it back. I've seen that happen with a particular account that they use your phone numbers. Somebody mistakenly sent money there and the bank was wasting time. After about 2 months, the person got that person's phone number and called the person. And the person said, I saw the 50K, I've been trying to get it back. Send me your account, let me send it back to you.
But what about in cases where the person refused to send back?
Yes, there are cases like that.
They refused to
now,
send. Just a moment, let me ask the question. The person did not send the money back. And the person used the money and prevented his account from being accessible by telling other people money to come in.
Yes.
And he did not give the bank the permission.
Good.
His bank the permission to take money.
So what happens in that
case,
instance is this. That account will send my own bank an email. My own bank will forward the email to me telling me, unfortunately, the client you have transferred money to, the person's account is 0. But we have put a tag on this account. Anytime money enters, it will be transferred to you. But guess what? My own bank is not even ready to have a conversation with me. From the customer service, they are telling me that, madam, this is difficult. They are already telling me I am not ready to work on this.
Okay, so in cases like this, Olumide, rounding up, in cases like this, maybe we need to have a banker here to will come and have this conversation because I don't think it's just how much I have in my account without my consent. If my bank gets that, I can sue them.
No, that's why I sent a legal. You're not. You're not.
All right, so
I sent a mail.
I understood what you're saying.
The bank is supposed to send the customer an email stating, "This is what happened. 20,000 entered your account." This person is saying that the person was not willing. The person too will now send an email saying, "No, I and this person did a business."
So I think one of the things Swift missed out. I've seen a similar case like this. You send your bank an email. You're also supposed to send an email to CBN.
To CBN.
They are the regulators.
Okay.
They will now carry out that investigation.
Yes.
They can now know what to do regarding this. So like
I should send to CBN now.
Yes, I've seen there's a particular lady on Instagram. She gave a breakdown of how the whole process is supposed to go. You send your bank, you send a copy of it to CBN also. Now, the person who has that account would also be notified.
Okay.
I think this thing runs for about 2 weeks or thereabout. that person will also be noticed because you have to give that person the benefit of doubt to explain, okay, this is, what do you have to say about it?
It was not a business transaction and I'm wanting to pull out funds from the person.
That is where the CBN would step in. So the CBN also, they have a whole lot of things to do. Banks also need to upgrade their system. They need a whole lot of upgrading because most of the time, this financial errors comes with interbank disputes.
Okay.
Transferring from one bank to another. I mean, you remember the time whereby you go and use the ATM in another bank, and the ATM swallows, the ATM machine swallows, and they will not give you back.
Yes.
They will tell you, go and do another one.
Have they started giving back your ATM?
I don't think they have started
doing that.
They've not started doing that either.
But in some cases, it has happened to me. I spoke with the security man at that bank, and he said, don't worry, come very early in the morning.
It now becomes people relations.
Yes. When they come to refill the money in the ATM,
But they are telling you that kind of situation had happened, and they are telling you it is CBN regulation
at this point, you
that prevented you, that stopped you from taking your ATM, that to refund other ATM, except if it is your bank, except it is your bank, for which even the customer relations can equally do that. We need to move to our next story.
It now becomes human factor. So like what you said, Olumide, normally, it is when the issue cannot be resolved between both banks, we escalate to CBN.
Okay.
But because of the decadence in the bank, because people are lackadaisical in their work coming, that is why you need to now go on X. And when you are writing to your bank, you now tag CBN so that your bank is afraid of being sanctioned.
Okay.
Normally, your bank and the other bank are supposed to exchange emails and have this conversation amicably.
Great.
But because of the bad attitude, the decadent at their work, they are not doing proper work.
So they need to train their staff.
CBN, which is not supposed to be.
Yes, Benga, we need to move to our next story, but I need you to have your last take on this conversation.
Swift is correct. What she's saying that is most important. Even if you need to inform CBN, when you go to your customer care service officer in the bank, they are supposed to give you this information in case you don't know, so that to help you, because they are customer service. But you see, when your customer service officer is already telling you, I don't know whether you can get this back or you just forget about it. I mean, what does that say to you? And that is what I think we should take away. And the reason why I agree 100% with on this is I have also had similar incidents with one orange-colored bank like that, where even when I reported their staff, because I went out of my way to mail them name of the staff, branch of the staff, and explain exactly what the staff did. They did not, in fact, they did not resolve that issue for months simply because I reported further. So it is the crux of the matter is that the attitude of some of these banks, like she gave you an example of when that same situation happened with a bank in the UK, a branch of the bank in the UK, because they know they can't misbehave with the law. They will get away with a lot of things because of how porous our laws are here, and also that big managing feeling that you can't do anything for us. Remember that time when someone had a tomato paste issue with one tomato paste company. The tomato paste company owner arrested the person rather than help find solution to the complaints of that person that trended that time. So this big managing feeling here makes people, do things, and because they know they can get away with it. And that is what some of these banking reforms should address. And this is what this 48 hours, one of the things this 48 hours issue is also addressing.
Okay. Thank you very much, Benga. Now, let's move to our next story. The World Bank and World Health Organization, WHO, have endorsed Nigeria's sector-wide approach, SOUQ, as a leading framework for sustainable health sector reform. The endorsement came during a high-level dialogue at the 2025 World Bank IMF annual meeting in Washington, D.C. The session themed Scaling Health Reforms convened global stakeholders, including health ministers, development partners, and representatives from both organizations. Discussions focused on advancing healthcare financing, boosting local pharmaceutical production, and strengthening primary health care in developing nations. Nigeria's SWOP model was praised for fostering collaboration among government donors and private sector actors, ensuring coordinated investment and improved accountability. The endorsement positions Nigeria as a reference point for other countries seeking to implement comprehensive health reforms. Olumide.
This is a good one. It's what we've always been preaching. Let's not depend on foreign aid or whatever. Let's trade amongst ourselves. Let's transact. Let's be each other's neighbor. And this is a good move. I see a situation whereby we would be able to trade amongst ourselves easily. We'll be able to and share ideas, skills and knowledge acquisition, skills transfer from one country to another within Africa, because that is the way forward. That is how EU got to where they are right now. We should also emulate this. So it would improve regional trade, it would boost energy security, it will also encourage investment. Someone in Ghana or someone in Ethiopia or South Africa, can do business with a Nigerian. Smooth. Now, some of the things I might see as hindrance is implementation challenges, very national policies, subsidy systems, and all that. We also have some countries might resist it. I mean, if you look at the AFCTA, how long it took Nigeria to come into it and agree, like that also. So there might be some initial resistance, but I believe that if we can all come together, and trade amongst ourselves, we will grow globally.
Great. Lord Benga, let me get your position on this. It looks like this is a boost for Nigeria health and well-being drive. Primary health care is there, and the World Bank, IMF, will be, for them to give their own words that, look, we are praising this initiative from Nigeria. It's going to have its own positives by opening the space for potential investors other in the health space in Nigeria. What's your impression when this trade came to you?
When World Bank, World Health Organization, and praise Nigeria on health initiatives, I am always afraid. I always use my tongue to count their people, because if you know those people with their international agenda, they will not praise you except they have an agenda that you are satisfying for them. And because I've read, you might call it conspiracy theory, I've read a lot of articles on how many of these international health organizations, especially donor agencies like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and many of them are using to test new viruses, to test new medicines, to test new unapproved medicine that they could not test in their home country. I am always afraid. So I will not be willing to quickly jump praise and say, oh, because on the long run, will it be for the benefit of Nigeria? I've had story, I don't know whether you've heard of the story before, of one weaponized mosquito in one Eastern African country that a particular foundation sponsored to say, oh, they have reduced the ability of the mosquito to have malaria. Meanwhile, research from, you might call it conspiracy theories, says that they are actually using that and the anti-malaria medicine, injection, vaccines, even anti-polio vaccines to make people not to have children, against their consent. And in many of the countries where the people have complained, because a lot of people in their governments have been bribed to stupor, rather than help their own people, they will support all these international organizations. And you cannot have as much information as the government does. So, when it comes to the issue of health, we saw how they predicted that people would be dying on the streets in Africa during COVID. And when people did not die on the streets in Africa, recently there is a news that I read on BBC, about how many of the established medical aid zones by the US government in Africa, in countries like Djibouti, Nigeria, Kenya, and yes, how they are research centers to create the next virus. if BBC could peddle such news. So when all these international organizations are praising our health reforms, yes, the health reforms might on the surface look good for the people, might on the surface be beneficial to the people. But if we search deep, there are people who are on their dying bed confess that they brought HIV/AIDS to Nigeria through a free health program they were doing for people in South Africa during apartheid South Africa. And you begin to wonder why South Africa has the highest HIV/AIDS rates in Africa, despite their small population. So if you don't add all of these things together, for me, I don't want any aid from any of these international organizations. Aids on food, aids on health, because I have, without a doubt, concluded that they are only here not to help Africans get healthy, but to make them fall sick, die, so that they can take up their natural resources as many as they could, or use that their ill health as a leverage to bargain for the natural resources in such African countries that they are able to capture. And if you have read the book on war games in one of the CIA classified materials, you will see that biological warfare is part of the war game practices that have been going on for almost 50 to 70 years now.
Okay.
But Africa is sleeping on it, so we don't know. And me having read such information, I do not. When World Bank, World Health Organization, all of them, when they praise our government on anything, I want to use my tongue to count my teeth. I will not join them in saying it is good, because I don't know what to do.
All right, thank you. So Swift, before we go to our next story.
All right, so I think in June, Dangote talked about the fact that he's going to be looking at investing heavily in the health sector, and I knew something like this was coming up because a friend of mine once said, if you follow the rich and the influencer, whatever they say they are going to invest, just give it 6 months, give it 1 year, you'll find out that that's almost, I won't use the word the new cash cow. Everybody knows that health has become, from the COVID, we have come to see that health can man or make the biggest countries, and it can change the way people look at things. Now we are realizing the kind of money that can be made from the health sector. A friend of mine told me something years ago. He said when he wanted to go into medicine, he told himself, either I become a gynecologist or I become a pediatrician. He said because women will always give birth and children will always fall sick, and so it is a two-way stream. Right about now, we are seeing international recognition. We know our Nigerian medical officers have been able to prove themselves in the diaspora and everywhere in the world as one of the best hands you can get. But this is World Health Organization is opening hands for private collaboration with government and standards. One is going to bring about, it will be more transparent. So the health sector, we can know what is going on from the beginning to the end, which is being implemented in Lagos. I don't know about other places. From Luth, from where you pay, you have a card. It's now been documented. There are no more carrying files. Even at Island Maternity here, which I use, there are no more carrying files. You just go, you see whoever you are seeing, your name is being transferred from system, and you just have an e-card that you carry. You make payment there, you come back. So it's going to talk about more transparency. We are going to see more of the big players come into health. And my hope is with more big players coming into health, then it would improve the health sector. Because if Dangote has something at stake in Luth, you would not expect that light is going to go off. He knows that people are paying for these services. He is looking at profit. And so we are looking at the best of standards. It is something that is laudable, and I think it should be encouraged.
Great. Lastly, United States President Donald Trump and Australia Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Monday signed a critical minerals agreement aimed at reducing dependence on China. The deal was sealed during their first White House summit, underscoring growing strategic ties between the allies. The meeting focused heavily on regional security, with Trump reaffirming U.S. support for a nuclear-powered submarine partnership under the AUKUS Pact to strengthen Indo-Pacific defense. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have just 7 minutes to finish up with this.
Uncle Trump is in the news again.
I'm going to be interrupting us if we just keep speaking on it. So Olumide, let me start with you.
Yes, China dominates the global supply on rare earth minerals, and I think to them now it's payback time to US that, all right, you've been doing this. In Nigerian words, we say, that's what China is trying to do right now. And US is saying, okay, fine, if you're trying to play tough, we would look for alternatives. So Australia comes in. US and Australia ties, well, to strengthen the whole ally and everything, secures key supply chains, for tech and, defense and the rest of them, and also creates investment opportunities. It's just, everyone is just trying to look out for each other. Everybody's trying to make good use of what they have. China has something, and they're trying to, when you have something that the whole world wants, you have a higher bargaining power. That is what China holds right now, a higher bargaining power. Right now, I see, and I believe this is where Africa should step up. We also have things that we can use to bargain very well. We're not just making good use of it. US also has it. Trump has the market, a consumable market, a vast, people of consumers, manufacturers. They have that market. They are bringing in things, so he can bargain. Okay, if you are bringing this in, this is what I want. This is the tariff, and this is the. China also has what they are offering, and they are saying, okay, if you don't bring this thing to your own country, your manufacturers are going to suffer for this. They are going to pay a whole lot more. So it's just political play. The dynamics is wide, and big players are just playing their games so powerfully. Both nations are strong. China, US, they are strong nations.
Great. I said Olumide. Oluwabenga, now it's just 2 minutes.
Yes.
Do you think the United States defense industry is under attack, or maybe they have been starved of rare earth materials?
It's not only that they are under attack; they have, shot themselves in the leg a long time ago. I mean, I was referring to the war games in the earlier topic. Every 2 years, US does war games to practice scenarios, likely scenarios that could happen between all the major axes of powers in the world. I read back in 2015 where US in their own war games predicted all that is happening now. And then you begin to wonder that if you are seeing all of these things coming, how come that you did not do the needful to protect your country from exposure? And it shows to you that there are some people who are interested in profit rather than patriotism to their country. And that's why a lot of them hate Donald Trump when he comes and he says America first, because they want to make their profit first. And a lot of them have empowered China. And China knows all of these things. China has taken advantage for a long time. Even Australia, that US is now running, has fallen victim of China. There was a time, I think 2019, thereabout, when the Chinese government revoked an airport. Chinese government bought an airport in Australia for less than, I think, $100 or so, and they leased that airport for 99 years. How they did it? And the Chinese have shown itself to be a genius, and US is waking up too late. And probably they are waking up at all because they have a president who doesn't care about political correctness. But I will say to you, from what I have read from the US government itself, that they are the ones who have shot themselves in the leg, and now all this scrambling in the last minute would only be able to save little, but China has gone far ahead. That the only thing that will kill China from within is that, this their politburo, that one party system and something. So it is going to be a cancer from within, but from without, China has gone, and US has woken up too late to smell the coffee.
Oh, great. Swift, in rounding up, in less than 2 minutes, please.
Okay, so very briefly, it's just a dynamics of word power play. It's like your wife at home refuses to cook or, satisfy you in the other room, and you go and you bring in another wife. That's what US is doing. US is just trying to curb the excesses of China. It is obvious that US has been, Trump's first tenure, before he got this one, he had always been picking out the fact that China is getting too strong. China, Russia. They are countries that we need to watch out for because they have been able to build themselves in such a way that the whole world is now dependent on them. You can barely go into any country and there's not something from China. There's no facility, there's no health sector sponsored by them. They are building the trains, they are doing this, and they have been able to harness some of these raw materials and sit on it. Now, the good thing about this war, which I said, it is opening the way for Africa. There are a lot of African countries that have similar raw materials. If they can build on it, this will breed industrialization. It will push nations to realize that there are other things. If not for the Russian war, US would never have been taking fuel from Dangote. But here we are from Nigeria exporting petroleum products to the United States. So I think it's a good one. I'm excited about it. I like Uncle Trump. Somehow their wars are pushing Africa to the forefront, which is good for me.
Thank you very much. Now, this is where we draw the curtain. We need to really run out of the studio and preparation for other broadcasts coming. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks to C Governor who actually commented while watching the program. Thanks to Paul Ayenuba, who we have to drag off from his bed most times in the week, in the morning, to join us on this conversation. Thank you so much, Oluwagbenga Paul, for your time with us.
It's always a pleasure to be on the show.
Yes, thank you. So, Olumide, in rounding up.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure staying with us. Don't forget, drop your comments, follow us, like us. The conversation does not end here. Let it continue on our social media platforms. Drop your comments. Whatever issues you want us to discuss. If it's business, development, economy, we are up for it. I am Olumide Shokoya. Just the rest of the day.
And like I always say, according to Winston Churchill, do not ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Be a better Nigeria. My name is Swift Aderito. Have a beautiful day.
And from me, I said, follow us on our social media platforms at SOUQ News TV. A very good morning to you.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
It said it's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ business landscape.
For more than a century, Zambia has stood as a prominent figure in the mining sector, particularly renowned for its copper production, which remains a cornerstone of the nation's economy. Accounting for 3/4 of the country's export earnings, mining plays a pivotal role in Zambia's economic landscape. The focal point of this mining activity is the Copper Belt province, home to major copper mines like Lumwana and Konkola, alongside Sentinel in the northwestern province. These mines, operated by renowned international firms such as Barrick and Vendetta Resources, hold majority foreign ownership, with Zambia Consolidated Copper Mine Investment Holdings retaining minority stakes. Smaller mines in the Copper Belt region, backed by investors from countries like China, Brazil, and South Africa, contribute to Zambia's diversified mining landscape. However, the country's mining sector faces various challenges, hindering the potential growth trajectory. Fiscal policies introduced by the government, including royalty increases, the taxation policies, have negatively impacted mining profitability. Also, price volatility in global markets, infrastructural deficiencies like inadequate transportation networks, power shortages, and an uncertain regulatory environment further increases the sector's challenges. Moreover, labor disputes, safety concerns, and geopolitical risks stemming from political instability poses additional hurdles to Zambia's mining sector. To propel the nation towards its 3rd million tons copper production goal, strategic measures are crucial. and these include leveraging digital technology through partnerships with AI and machine learning firms to enhance sectors' efficiency and investment, stable policy framework in order to attract and retain investment, and provision of a conducive regulatory environment. Infrastructure strengthening supported by donor funding and concessional financing can also alleviate critical constraints such as transportation and power shortages. More so, environmental conservation is vital for sustainable development. Hence, mining companies must provide government-approved environmental management plans, prioritize durable equipment, and proper waste disposal techniques to minimize environmental degradation. Giving copper's expected dominance in Zambia's exports, maintaining its position as Africa's economic hub demands a concerted effort. Israel Adeyemi, SOUQ News.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Offences-Related Commission (ICPC) convened a one-day capacity-building workshop in Lagos aimed at strengthening accountability, transparency, and integrity across Nigeria's local government councils. Held under the theme, The Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption, the workshop was jointly organized in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Justice, Fiscal Responsibility Commission, Bureau of Public Procurement, Code of Conduct Bureau, and the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity, with support from the EU-funded Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program. The initiative was designed in response to the recent judicial pronouncement reaffirming local government as an independent tier of government.
State governments are prohibited from receiving funds allocated for local government.
Its objective was to equip local officials with knowledge and practical tools necessary for effective governance, compliance with procurement standards, and improved service delivery at the grassroots level.
Some will be deceived, as it were too, but what is more important is that we all have a task to ensure that that autonomy granted to the local government, who is the third tier of government, is not abused.
The Supreme Court's affirmation of local government autonomy is a monumental victory for all of us. It grants grassroots democracy. It grants you the power to truly drive whatever development you think you can impact on your people. However, great power demands great responsibility. Autonomy without accountability is obviously a recipe for fiscal disaster. For us at Fiscal Responsibility Commission, FRC, which is part of this coalition that is going from state to state to educate the operators, it's very key that we learn how to plan.
Or a task, you know, that duty that you have been entrusted with in that your office, you are the one responsible for it. if you don't do it well, if you allow yourself, like my brother said, your village people, to make you to read procurement, to make you to collect bribe, to make you to spend outside budget. You know, we have Boko Haram. Haram is what? Abomination. We have also fiscal haram. Are you aware? There is a concept called fiscal haram, and that is number one. Fiscal haram is any expenditure that's not budgeted. Spending government money without a budget is number one fiscal what? Haram.
The participants engaged in interactive discussions and team exercises, explored case studies on corruption prevention, accountability frameworks, and interagency collaboration. They also participated in a question and answer section focused on addressing challenges and exploring practical solutions to enhance public accountability in local government systems. At the end of the workshop, participants expressed satisfaction with the quality of content and delivery, highlighting the relevance of the sessions to their daily administrative responsibilities. Organizers reaffirmed that the joint agency initiative forms part of Nigeria's ongoing national anti-corruption agenda aimed at institutionalizing transparency, promoting fiscal responsibility, and strengthening governance structures at the grassroots level.
I was born on the 16th day of October, 63 years ago. I'm from Opobo, yeah, and went to school. I'm from Rivers State, from Opobo in Rivers State. Went to school in Port Harcourt, lived in Port Harcourt all my life, from primary to secondary school to A-levels. Then after A-levels, I got admission to Unilag. Immediately after Unilag, I got married, and I've lived in Lagos ever since. Well, it was fun for us because me and my husband were very young. My husband was 25, I was 21 and all that. But we learned on the job. We were friends. We were friends for 3 years when I was in Unilag, university. And we came out, we got married. So we're like children that just got married. But I had my parents. My parents were his very good friends. So when I get naughty, he would report me to my parents. When I didn't know these kind of duties were demands of somebody's wife, they would tell me this is my responsibility. I'm like, no. I will agree to some, I will not agree to some. But I mean, it was fun. We had our ups and downs, but kind of pushed through it. And then the children started coming, and it was a different ballgame. You know, when you come from that kind of family, it's like part of your system. You don't really regard it as anything anymore. But sometimes I get the shock of my life because there was a time my in-laws came to Opobo for one ceremony, and I saw the king. And he gave me a hug and he gave me a pick, and they were like, whoa, the upper Benin won't even shake your hand, you know, as a woman. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's the same family, you understand? So we're used to that. I think we take it for granted. But maybe some other people say, you must call me a princess, you must call me that. I'm not into all those kind of things. I'm not at all, I've never been. So I can't start tomorrow. But yeah, great King Jaja of Opobo, my great-great-grandfather. And my children, when they studied it in school, they went to Corona school. So they came, Mom, we're telling our teacher and our classmates that this King Jaja of Opobo, they taught them about King Jaja of Opobo in school. And they said, that's my mommy's great-grandfather. Like, whoa, no, it was like a big deal to them, for us. Absolutely, upbringing and my personal choice too, because you could be brought up one way and choose to go another way. You understand? One of my philosophies in life is like this: You're not the tallest in the world, you're not the shortest, you're not the prettiest, you're not the ugliest, you're not the richest, you're not the poorest. Oh, just get with it. Do you understand? If you're looking for beauty, there are more beautiful women than you say. If you're looking for ugly, there are uglier women. If you're looking for tall, you're looking for it. So what is it? Do you understand? You didn't come into this world with anything. You're not going to go with anything. So just be grateful to God for whatever you have or whatever you are. Work towards improving on it, improving your relationship with God Almighty and improving your relationship with your fellow human beings. That's my philosophy in life. So what's the point of carrying all the air and chips on your shoulder? It makes life heavier for you. Seven is my favorite number. It's a number for perfection, and I was born on the 16th of October. My star sign is Libra. We're always looking for perfect balance in everything. It's just an influence from the horoscopes, I'm told. But J is my husband's name, D is my name, and 7 is my favorite number. Lazy way of forming the name of a company, isn't it? So I did, and it stuck. And I knew I was going to go into couture, so that was it. Easy. I was a victim of circumstance. I keep saying it. I didn't really come into business to be a fashion designer, to go into fashion, and creativity has always been something that's innate. Okay, even before I started making clothes or doing this, I used to always give designers the styles that I wanted them to make for me. I didn't have tailors. But when I finished my NYSC at Nigerian Television Authority in Victoria Island, I decided I wasn't going to work there. I wanted to work in a more organized setup. You understand? Because of management traineeship, because I never worked all my life. My parents were very protective. I'm the last girl in the family. They were always very protective. So I said I wanted to work somewhere, and I prayed about it. And I got into Unilever. Then it was called Lever Brothers. And for 5 years, but the intensity of work there became a bit much for me because I was a young mother. I had 2 kids then. Was going on having the 3rd one, so it became a bit time. Sometimes Unilever was one of the biggest. When the international directors come in, we used to be the ones to host them with all the Unilever affiliates. Linters, the advertising agency used to be all the Nigerian breweries, USC, you understand, AJC, we're all Unilever group. Sometimes I won't get home until 3 a.m. when we're hosting, and with kids in the house, it can be a bit much. So I prayed about it and I decided something has to give. It's either your family, your children will not give them the attention they need then, and they were growing fast, or your job will suffer, and then you will not be happy, whichever way. So I decided, you know what, let my priority be my family. And I decided to go back. And I put in my resignation. That was not what I'm saying. When I did, my chairman refused to accept the resignation. So I had to use another way to encourage him to accept it. So I left Unilever. I said, okay, I wasn't the type of person that was suited for being a housewife. I wanted to do the kind of business I would do, but still have 100% time for the kids. So when the kids said they're having something in school, I'm there, okay? I decided I was going to just market corporate gifts. When I was in Unilever, I was the assistant corporate affairs manager in charge of press. So, and being in Unilever at the corporate affairs level, I already knew a lot of companies. So I used that opportunity to get back to those companies and introduce my new business. And in the first year, I actually made more money than my 5-year stint in Unilever. So that was the number encouragement. You make more money, do your own business. You have more time for your kids, for your family, and for yourself. And you travel quite a bit because you have to go and buy the corporate gift. So it was a win-win. Then, a few years down the line, the president, Olusegun Obasanjo, came in and said they were doing backward integration and they were going to stop the importation of all this corporate gift and a lot of other things. So we were actually forced to look inwards. And when we started looking at watch, that's when it hit me that apart from Big, that was being produced by Eleganza, we're not really manufacturing anything in Nigeria apart from textiles and maybe I think Eleganza was doing food flask or something. And which corporate body do you want to give as end of year gift? So what we had to do now, because a lot of my clientele were like Shell, Chevron, I started looking at what. I said, okay, if I have to do something, I can do beddings, pillowcase trimmings, table covers, table placemat, napkins with fabrics like SOUQ and I can do jute bags, you know. It came to me. So I had to go and buy one machine and employed one tailor. So sometimes they will call me. I did some samples. So when, even in Abuja, when they were going to have, like I remember the West African Women's Affairs, they had a conference. So they wanted jute bags, and we had about 1,000 or 2,000 jute bags, and that was quite nice. Plus, apart from the end of year, so that's it. But you know, after those periods, you have periods of lull, like you're not using the machine and the tailor. You have to be paying tailor for doing it. I'm like, why am I going to these people to make my clothes? Tailor, oh yeah. This is the style I want. I started first by giving some of my clothes, repeat it. You did well. So I started designing. I could sketch very well. I was a science student in school, but I could sketch really well. So I was sketching, would do well. And sometimes when I wear the clothes and I go to supermarket, some women will just call me, hey, I really like this thing you're wearing. Please, where did you make it? I'm like, okay, I'll give you the address. I give them the address. They started coming. Before I could say that, within 1 month, I had over 50 women I had to make clothes for. And the one tailor was no longer enough. I had to employ 2 others. That was how we started. From 2 to 4, then I had a whole factory before you could see that. I started making school uniforms, started doing all kinds of things. And then some of the magazines, like Genevieve magazine, looked at me and like, are you sure you make this outfit? I thought you were a broadcaster. I thought you sell. I said, yes, I did. So I did some photo shoot session for her, and I modeled the clothes actually. And whoa, I started getting calls from Paris, from the UK. I did DC Fashion Week, you know. I was just, and they will pay your ticket, pay your hotel, please come and showcase for us. Some will even say, please come and open the show for us. Some say, we want you to close this. I'm like, okay. There are places that I would never have thought of going to, like Burkina Faso. They will back me the top fashion designers that would, when the Alfadi does this thing once every 4 years. Alfadi in Niger. The Niger government sponsors it. He calls all, including Elisab, every international designer, they will go, especially the Moroccan ones, those North African ones, Indians. So they invite one designer from each country. So they used to call me to come because of what I used to work a lot with Ankara and SOUQ, and I do international acclaimed, how would I put it, couture outfits with Ankara, big hats, funny looking, structured clothes and all that. So that was how it went, you know. And I did all the magazines. I've won all the awards. So after a while, you know, I started thinking of concentrating on exports. In the process of doing that, my husband took ill. After 2 years, we lost him. So when I came back home, I gave a lot of things a lot of thought. My kids were still in school. My daughter got married. She was in Australia already. And then my kids, my 2 boys were still in school. So I said, look, this fashion design thing is not going to pay school fees in pounds sterling and dollars. So I said to myself, you know what? Why don't you give the man hours to the industry, the family business that were yielding the most income? That was how I started kind of just saying, you know what, let me just minimize it a bit. My core clients were still coming. So I kept the tailors, my experienced tailors that worked with for years, I kept them I kept few of them. And I kind of cut down on that business. I said, you know what? Let me just go and face the family business and do this for the people who really know what I'm doing. And word of man goes. So I'm still doing that, but my priority is really not that, When you look at me the first time you see me, you see a fragile woman that don't like to sweat, that's spoiled, that like to be kept. I'm like, what? Absolutely not. My husband didn't want me to do anything. He just felt he wanted to spoil me. I said, that's not how to love me at all. Please. It's either you kind of understand the person I am. I'm a very creative mind. This mind has to keep working, or I'll make life miserable for you, What I will advise, even women who are willing to work, you don't even do one job. You must get at least more than 2 streams of income.